Welcome back to the Money and Wealth Show. This week we're talking about the HST, the Harmonized Sales Tax that's going to hit you and me where we live, right in our wallets, effective July 1st. Our guest, former British Columbia Premier Bill Vander, who's the flag carrier of the HST opposition crowd. Bill, 3 times more people live in Ontario than British Columbia. Ontario is absolutely lacking the kind of movement that you're leading in British Columbia. What's up with that? Does Ontario not have the same economic realities that we do in BC? You just don't see organized opposition to a tax that clearly is unpopular.
So the reasons are several, none the least of which they don't have a flag bearer. Somebody needs to take the lead. That hasn't happened in Ontario.
Okay.
Probably hasn't happened because they don't have the legislation that we have to have an initiative. So what's a flag bearer going to do in Ontario? So they have a problem in that respect. They also are a manufacturing province. So many of the little businesses that are suffering or will be suffering here do not suffer the same in Ontario because they have some dependence on some manufacturing, which in turn has a dependence on having to compete in other parts of Canada and the US. So the picture there is very different from what it is here, number one. Also, I think we're not getting the reports, but apparently, first of all, they're getting $1,000 per person rebate from the government in Ontario to overcome the shock of the change. So that's rather attractive to a lot of people. If you're on fixed or low income or a senior or a student and you're going to get a $1,000 check from the government, it's a good enticement. We're not getting that here.
Right.
And finally, in spite of all of that, I'm told that the polls that have been done recently in Ontario still show 75% of the people opposed. People that say the long-term pain outweighs the short-term gain.
Let's move back to British Columbia. One of the main arguments I hear from people who, like you, oppose the HST is that it will be taxing us in areas that previously were exempt from provincial sales tax. This is going to be much more of an across-the-board hit on our bottom lines.
All the way from a postage stamp to a funeral. All the way from getting a plumber or getting a massage therapist, or buying a membership in a club, to bringing in a home renovator or a grass cutter or a tree pruner. It's everything. So it's very all-encompassing. There's very few places you'll escape the 12% tax.
I have to ask you this question because I would be remiss if I didn't. Why are you leading this parade? What's in it for you? You looking to get back into the political game, Bill? What's your motivation?
I'm not looking to get into the political game for sure. I've been there, I've done that, I don't want to do it again.
Why, remember.
And if I were 20 years younger, I might. So that's gone. Personally, I might stand to gain a bit by the tax if I wait to buy a new car for the company or a new truck for the company. I just bought a tractor, but because it's a farm tractor, it was exempt anyway. So there's nothing personal to gain by this. But I'm now into this campaign. It's a bit of a passion. I can't quit now. I've got to keep going. I didn't realize it was so much work. So it's not all benevolence. There's a degree of I didn't know what I was getting into. It's big, but now I'm going to carry it out.
The economics of all of this, you talked a little bit about how it's more broad-based, how we're going to be paying tax in areas that we previously hadn't. With that increase in provincial revenue, will there be an economic benefit to us for paying this additional tax? I'm sure the government would like us to believe there is. Do you have evidence of that?
The government says that this tax is revenue neutral. That's what they've said time and again. That means whatever they collect from the consumers goes back to the corporate sector. So, however, it's not the little businesses, the people that normally create all the jobs, that are going to benefit. It'll be the big corporations because they make big capital purchases. However, if you believe that Chevron, I'll just pick Chevron, one of my favorite companies, is going to drill for oil in the Peace because they're getting a refund check from the government, then you're on the wrong page completely. They'll only start drilling again, and Fording Coal will only start mining for coal when the price of coal goes up or the price of a barrel of oil goes up. It's not a refund check from the government. Little companies are going to be hurt by this. The big companies, the big corporations will benefit. Their shareholders will rub their hands and say, thanks to these nice folks in BC, they're helping our bottom line.
And so the onus, though, is completely on the backs of the people of British Columbia to respond to this request, to organize, to abide by the rules, which are quite strict. Yep. And you appear to be, you're the eternal optimist anyway, and I've known you for a long time, but you appear to be pretty convinced that this thing is going to happen.
From what I've seen so far, it's going to happen. And we're targeting 15%, not 10%. Some people might sign twice. Some people might sign in the wrong constituency. So we want to make sure that we're going to pass and not fail somewhere along the line later on.
Now, if someone is watching this and just sort of cluing into the fact that, yes, I, for a change, can actually make a difference, where do they go? Where should they, to the website? Is that a good place to start organizing their thoughts?
All the information is on the website, fighthst.com, fighthst.com. They can find out who to contact locally. They can find out where it is they might sign the petition. They can find out what's happening at the various town hall meetings that we've sponsored and where the next one might be. It's all there.
I should also point out, in the interest of fair ball, we do plan to extend an invitation to the Premier of British Columbia and his Minister of Finance to appear on this program, to respond and to give the government side of the picture as perhaps eloquently as Mr. Vander has provided the opposition to the HST. So that could be happening in the weeks to come. Bill Vander, you've got a busy few weeks to come. We appreciate your taking the time to join us today. It's good to see you again.
Thank you, Sterling.
And
Pleasure.
good luck in this effort. It's going to take a lot of work.
Thank you.
We'll be right back.